be honest, wet weather, there is an opportunity for safety cars to come out and really affect everything. Now, the driver of the day voting will open at the beginning of lap 25. So be ready with exclamation mark vote in the chat. I'm going to go with Infamous for the win. Nicholas to get P2. Do I think Hyperz can... No, I'm going to go Yolta P3. I don't think Hyperz can bring it back to the podium.
I'm going to say the same top two. I'm going to say...
Oh.
You're going to say Yolta. I'm going to say Yonti.
Okay. I mean, yeah, two Shazoo drivers. Either way, Shazoo's going to get a podium based on our guesses. It's going to be a lot of welcome to do nonetheless.
It's going to be like F2, so don't trust us on us, guys.
Right, 35 laps in the Canadian Grand Prix here. It's such an excitement to go as we see them all coming back onto the grid to get ready for, I can only imagine, to be drama as we get started with this incredibly wet Grand Prix then. The lights are on. Infamous will be starting the charge with his teammate very much in tow. 3 lights on. It's go time here in Canada. Infamous has got a pretty solid start. It's slow away from everybody, just how much they are fighting for grip. There's a lot of battling going on further down the field. I'm seeing a lot of carnage already. We've lost a few drivers. Daniel, Danny and Copy all involved in an incident. Daniel's brought himself back on track, but he has got a huge penalty as a result of that. Yellow flag, sector 1. I've seen Yolta sticking into P3 still. He's not lost anything. Somebody in P4. So he's managed to gain stuff out of this now. Oh, there's a moment there. Nicholas has gone off the track. He's had to do a Vettel. He's lost the rear. He's falling down the order. He's going to have to avoid everybody's reset to track. That might end up getting him into some serious trouble. We'll find out about that later. But he's in dead last now. Nicolas Longuet just did not get the start.
Pro's wheel died.
Oh no.
So he has to use a pad for today's race.
Oh, that would explain everything. He's in serious trouble, and Nicolas Longuet will not be in the running for any sort of top 3 positions right now. I'm seeing the Mercedes. Hyperz. He's coming for it.
I can't because I keep going on board for some reason. But yeah, Get Owned is up into P6 now. So Mercedes then are making light work, but time burning.
Up there from Dennis as well. Kai might actually get an opportunity. It's Kai and Hyperz are going side by side. Kai's on the grass now. Oh, he's been clipped, and that's sent him round.
Bottas gang, and he does that. So 1 racing point final. Oh, a little bit of a slide there around this back straight. Let's see if he can make head or tail of Yonzi. It's going to be very, very close. And the Renault.
We'll see afterwards. However, keep an eye out for the mid. Oh, there's a big guy. Oh, that's a mistake and a half from Nicholas. He's hit right into the side of Mizzo there. Caused Mizzo to rotate, and that's allowed Hyperz to run away with this
and
now.
Maybe Zones, Zones actually might stay on the wet, actually. I don't know. It's impossible to tell. Yes, Zones on the wet. That's interesting. I was not expecting that from Zone, so we're going to keep a close eye on Daddy and
He's made the right call here. Look at him. He closed into Coffee so quickly. He's already going to pass him before we even get to what is essentially going to be a DRS zone. Eventually, when we do get the dry sides in. Infamous is in. He's also gone for intermediates. This is the big call then. This is the one that's going to work out for him. Intermediates joined him. Brownie's joined him. Hyperz joined him. Pit lane is starting to get very lively now. Inters are definitely the track of the time.
That line throughout the whole.
Oh, Hyperz is just chilling. Hyperz obviously on the Inters now. Managed to get the inside line into the hairpin. JC's just trying to stick around there with him, and he cannot. The Inters are just too good right now. Now keep an eye out
for me. I can't really tell, but
well, he's definitely decent for me because he's just getting hit around on my screen.
Yeah. So, and he's at the fastest lap.
He's been challenged as well by Dan, who's just around the outside. Yeah, Nicholas starting to find pace again. I know he's having issues with his wheel, so that's why he's so far down.
That is good from them, I mean.
I don't know what happened there. Zone just broke.
That DRS straight, don't forget it is disabled in the wet. He's going to get the outside. Oh, they're so close going into that final chicane. It looks like Mizzo holds on to P9 for now. We'll see. It's
Brownie are swapping places. Brownie went too deep on the inside of Yonti, and that's actually allowing Hyperz and Brownie to be scrapping now. Yonti's resumed where he was. Hyperz is trying to get the drag race down here with Brownie, but Brownie looks like he's got less wings than Hyperz, because look at the pace he's chucking away right now. Hyperz is going to go for a send, surely. He's trying to go alongside of him. He has to back out. It's the right decision. Try and get him again later. But
and then they have a really bad last couple of laps, so just, if I was you, if you're not sure about driver of the day, just play into the penultimate lap.
Dennis is going for it. He couldn't get it. There was a gap. Zones left it open. Now, Zones is not passing Mizzo. Zones probably could have passed Mizzo a while ago, but obviously he feels very guilty for the damage he caused Mizzo due to trying to let it pass. There's contact between them, and that's a break check there by
behind Dennis, making the move on zones. He's getting better entry speed into the straight. Here he goes onto the right-hand side. Is he going to go for the attack? Yes, he does. Is he going to hold on to that move?
Oh, well
yes,
done.
He does. Dennis.
Mizzo is struggling. I think he's very deflated as a result of the contact he had earlier. He's currently P9. There's wheel banging going on, and Dennis is taking the outside line here. That's a little bit of a slide from Mizzo, but nothing too tragic. Squeeze up to the outside. There's a very small amount of time.
He's in an ultimatum right now. He's got to try and defend. Oh, this almost ending in shunt, I think, as Mizzo, I think, just holds on. I'm not sure if Dennis has damage, but here comes Zone. Zone senses this. He's seen that Dennis and Mizzo have made a mistake, so here's his chance.
Watch Dennis, because he's going for it this time. This is Just Chillin' in big trouble. Dennis got such a good run through that final chicane. He's alongside of him going in towards turn one. He's got the move done. Just Chillin' just nudges the back of him a little bit. Just Chillin' still trying to get back into this, trying to get that point position back. It was so close to him. And Dennis, this is before penalties are applied. I think Just Chillin' will get it back due to penalties. But again, this is all about track position initially. As Infamous has crossed the line, he does take the win. Yolta will take P2. I don't think that Yonte has enough penalties to, least penalties in order to achieve anything over Yolta. Here we go, up to the line. Still waiting for it. Yolta's crossed. There's a copy following him as well. That's Yonte now making it to it. Dennis gets a penalty. That might be the difference maker between them. Keep an eye out for Just Chillin' as he's coming up to the hairpin. He might go for a move here. This is an inside line. He's got it. Just Chillin's got the move done. He's still alongside him, actually, wheel to wheel. But no, he cannot get the exit. Here's the DRS being open for Just Chillin'. He wants the track position, not just from penalties as well. He's already got the pace. He's through on him into the final chicane, and Dennis has got no answer unless he sends it late, which he just cannot do, but he's still trying. Cannot achieve it, and Dennis, they're still charging to the line. Just Chillin' will take P10. Holy, right the way to the end.
Wow.
Now Bottas gang will make P12. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Paul Ricard for the second time this evening as we are approaching the F1 Grand Prix here in the Rwagnation League. My usual co-commentator is actually off ill today. It is King Kodiak, sadly, who needs to go and rest. So I told him absolutely do that, and we brought in an old guy here in both ways. Jamie, I'm Carcelda. How you doing?
I'm not too sure about how are you?
Not too shabby indeed. But I don't know if you've seen the driver standings for this. Nicolas Longuet is leading. It's 119 points, with Hyperz in P2 with 106, and Infamous is closing in on 76 points. Roundy to P4, Yolta P5, Geton P6, Buenos P7, and Yonti was P8. Didn't catch the other two, but Preshneider, he's only attended one race. He was going to attend the last one, but he couldn't because his network was on his backside. And now I'm double checking, but I think he's back today. If he is, we might actually be able to see. Yes, he is. He's absolutely going to be smacking it in today then. 25 points from the first race he attended and smashed it in Monaco. We're here in France, 2 races later. Can he get it? Driver standings as constructor, is Mercedes at the top with 146, Racing Point in P2 with 119, Haas there P3 with 108, and Renault closing in on them with 95 points. Alfa Romeo in 5th with 64, Toro Rosso hot on their heels with 63, Ferrari there in P7. This is looking good. Coming into the French Grand Prix then, this is the track that they're going to be attacking them on. 3.6 miles with 15 turns, 2 DRS zones, and one of the longest straights on the calendar. It means there's going to be a ton of opportunities to attack. Esport Works hot spots is turns 8 and 9. We saw Gooby and Racebug have a mega collision in Season 3 through the turn 8 and 9. It was a very mega collision. It actually ended up being a wing damage for one of them. Turn 12, Overspeed and Tortor. They had a good scrap as well. Tortor not in this league. Neither is Overspeed anymore. That was a rotation there from Overspeed. Did not want that. It looks like Tortor just got caught up in that. Here we go then with a hot lap by our good friend Yonti in the Haas car. Down the home straight then, charging up towards turn 1. You want to brake just as that curb ends and get yourself slowed down. Clip that inside line for turn 1 and get a good run through turn 2. You do not want to be running wide there at all if you can avoid it. Coming up then to turn 3 and 4. Brake hard just after the 100 meter board. Slow it right down and then turn hard in here, turn 4. Coming up to turn 5 then, and then 6. Now this is a really awkward turn, this turn 6. You need to get as much of an exit as possible, but you can't get on the throttle too early because you will immediately run very wide. Now down the back straight, turn 7 was there, that little left-hander, leading up towards turn 8. Now, this is a hard braking zone. This is the DRS straight that we're talking about. You brake at the 100 meter board, get yourself right down there. Just watch out for that bollard on the inside. Turn 9 is a nice quick right-hander with the left here. And coming up towards what we like to call Rainbow Road. We have seen an issue or two there. Even in the F2 cars, we saw an issue or two. But so far, it's all good. As it goes through turn 10 into turn 11 and 12. Now this is a very long right hander. You don't really actually need to brake very much for this. You just need to make sure that you get the exit perfectly clean and don't have any issues. Coming up to the left hand side now. Good little exit there from Yonti. Didn't get any issues. Coming into the final sector now. Just a nice little chicane if you like. Long left into a very quick and sharp right. You need to brake hard to get yourself really down in the gears and then get a really solid exit. Because again, DRS being wide open, toe all the way down the home straight, leading up to that turn 1 battle as we'll repeat it going into it. Now, we're not quite ready to kick this off yet. We are having a couple of drivers having issues just getting in, but we are near enough there. Amkasa, we have got some of the quite a fair few incredibly quick drivers here today. Obviously, Nicolas had a really rough race in Canada, just couldn't get it together. He did have wheel issues, did actually end up having to use the pad at one point as a result. Do you think Nicolas can bounce back today?
Well, if there's anyone that can do it, it should be him. He's definitely got the pace to be a front runner here, as I'm sure everyone knows. Otherwise, they're also going to be on Hyperz. Pampernic's also quick. Well, I'll just go through all the drivers actually. Infamous winner last time out, definitely guy to keep your eyes on. And obviously that's Crow and Presnida. Also going to be towards the front. But who knows? I mean, weather could play a huge factor in here. We saw the F2 earlier had a wet but dry qualifying, so you're on dry tyres in slight drizzle. If we get a situation like that, things can change so dramatically. Even the best drivers may just make little mistakes that cost them a second or two. Just lose that back end, change everything, and that's what's going to come down to today. So we're going to see how, particularly the weather, as I say, will play a huge factor in these sorts of races.
Yeah.
So we're now just almost waiting for the last couple of drivers, but yeah.
Now,
definitely, yeah.
We did see Infamous, like you said, he won last time out in Canada, and it was a very interesting race. Obviously, there was a lot of rain that kind of played a factor, but it really worked out for him. He played everything perfectly. He didn't have to worry too much about the wear of the tires. He didn't have to worry about being battled too much because all of his major competitors were struggling everywhere. Everyone was just struggling. Yolta had a really solid performance. Really impressed by his driving. I think that he's starting to find his feet even more than he has done in the past. He's starting to get that pace that we've known him to have, and this has worked wonders for him.
Yeah, we saw him last season in AOR. He was the front runner, pretty much untouched all races, and then he moves up to F2 with a rejig and looks a little bit out of his depth there. But maybe that's given him a bit of sort of, right, this is what I've got to achieve. These are the guys I'm racing. This is how I've got to step up to this. And hopefully, for his sake, he's taken those on board and upped his game. And hopefully, we can now see him battling out for podiums.
Indeed. Now we do have the beeps underway, which signifies one thing. I do think we're missing a driver.
We're on 21 drivers. 19 drivers, sorry. 21 people.
We're missing. Oh, it appears he's asleep. It would seem. Alright, I've just had a look at Steam and it is showing him as away, snoozing, so we'll have to wait and see. Right, here we go then. We are loading into the French Grand Prix. You heard the beeps, which tells you exactly what that signifies. We're going into the qualifying for the French GP, and I'm Casa. I'm going to wait for you to see the weather. Oh, did I just see someone disconnect? I think I did. Yes, I did.
Daniel.
Which means we met, and it's a 5-lapper. So I think we may have to rehost this.
No, what are you talking about? It's qualifying.
Oh, it showed lap 1 of 5 there for me a second ago. It definitely showed. Somebody clipped that because it definitely showed 5 laps. I'm not hallucinating. It absolutely showed 5 laps. Now I'm looking at the sky. There's no rain as it stands. I don't know if there's going to be rain later, but it is a bit cloudy, to say the least.
Yeah, officially it is overcast. Currently 20 in the air, 28 on track. So take of that what you will. Also keep an eye on those temperatures. I have seen qualifying, and we have seen it several times, qualifying change from dry to wet. I don't know if I've seen it go the other way, to be honest, but yeah, so who knows what is going to happen here today. I'm just getting my telemetry up and running.
You do that, and I'm going to go on board with Yolta because he is the first car out on track, and after last week's performance, he's going to be looking dead set to try and deliver. Now, in terms of the strategy, we are going to be looking at mediums to hards being the more optimal strategy to go for. Whether or not somebody's going to choose to chuck on a set of softs and go for the fastest lap and get them as far up the field as possible and then go for a 2-stop strategy, you know, going from softs, mediums, that is possible. To an extent, you could do softs hards if you're really good on your tyres, but this track just destroys your soft tyres. There's no real way to keep them in check. It's just as much as possible, try and manage it throughout. Try and make sure that you are managing your ERS to go with it as well. Don't spin out the exits of corners, and if you can do that, you could keep the softs alive and potentially go into the hards. The hards do go very far in this race. It's just the mediums are that much better.
Well, yeah, but we're in a time of this game where safety cars happen several times a race. They say they've tried to make it more in line with realism, but we're seeing them come out so much more than they used to and how much more they do than actual F1. So is that a signification that sometimes you might want to start on the soft tyres and just take a risk and maybe then change onto the hards, the safety car on like lap 4 or 5, try and take those hards the whole way, and you've done that pit stop, you've got it out of the way. And you've gained a part out of the softs, but it's going to be an interesting thing to watch. It's been a while since I've commentated from a race, so who knows what's going to happen. Maybe I'm a lucky charm that is going to bring something special.
Well, I'm still waiting for you 1, 2, 3. I know you're doing your telemetry, so I'll let you do that. I want to hear you 1, 2, 3 as soon as you've done it. In the meantime, I'll go through mine. Now, Nicolas has had history here of being incredibly fast at the Paul Ricard circuit, and I wouldn't be surprised if he did put it on pole, but the person that I'm actually going to stick on pole today is Preschneider. I mean, right now he's off track. He was on the hards, so, you know, I will forgive him for that. But I do think Preschneider is going to be the one to watch today if he can get on pole. Don't get me wrong, I would like to see Nicolas be able to deliver a super fast lap time. Whether or not he's going to be able to, I'm not sure. That's the major issue.
I think you've kind of got to look towards Crow or Nicolas Longuet. He has actually visited this track. He's actually stood on the track. He knows it very, very well. I'd be surprised if anyone else puts it in front of him. But we'll see.
I mean, we got Hyperz to bear in mind as well. Hyperz is another driver who is phenomenal. And to be honest, I actually think he's quite underrated, which you'd say, but how? Like, everyone sings his praises, but yeah, but when you then put him in the limelight, when you put him against these other guys, like Preschneider and Nicolas Lange, and obviously Infamous, he is sort of like always trying to fight to get him to be the name that's on top all the time. And especially when it comes to Nicolas, he seems to have some sort of weird mental block where if he's racing alongside him or if he's trying to impress him, whatever, he just seems to block him. But who knows? Who knows? I would love to see Hyperz get himself out the front. I believe he can do it. I just don't know how much practice he's put in.
I think, yeah, that is, say, you've kind of hit the nail on the head there. I'm just finishing doing nearly that. There we go, I'm done. But yeah, he's always sort of lived under the shadow of Nicolas, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And he tries to up his game. He wants to be better. He wants to be on the same level. I mean, there's a good example. Well, he had fast stuff. He hasn't got it anymore.
Had. Emphasis on had. Yeah, Infamous is another guy, though, who's done the same thing to Hyperz. Hyperz is now in a boat where he's also fighting with him as well.
In terms of my top three, I've got to go with Crow. Sticking out at the front, I will put Hyperz P2. P3, will we see a surprise, or will it be one of the esporters? I think it has to be an esporter, really. As quick as some drivers can be, particularly likes the zones and get owned, can be quite quick on the 1 lap pace. I don't think anyone's going to take it off. I will put Preschneider P3.
So, I mean, I'm looking at it. You know, Yenab was pretty rapid in the race we saw him in. He did take part in the Monaco Grand Prix, and that was the same opportunity that some idiot got, and he actually managed to get a solid P3 when he crossed the line. Some of you may have seen his reaction on the Discord. It was phenomenal, and it was very heartwarming to see. Hopefully he can get another solid result that you might be able to see him deliver that again. But Brownie, he is someone who can deliver lap times, and look at that, 1:31.022. He's only half a tenth behind Infamous.
He's faster than Crow on the opening stint as well. They are all out on hards at the moment. When they will change over to mediums, probably for the last 1 or 2 attempts. So I'm on board currently with Beaker, who had invalidated his first lap. He's out again on the second attempt. And we'll see what he can achieve. Brownie actually did purple sector 3, sorry. So he does have some pace on there. And it's half a second quicker on the final sector than Hyperz.
Yep. Right, now Preschneider's on an outlap. He did go out and do a run on some hard tyres and then decided, I'm coming back in again. He just literally did an outlap and came straight back in again. Again, somebody to watch out for. He is able to be up there in that top 5 as it stands right now. I think we're probably going to see him at Pan Pernick. He's actually chucked a pretty quick lap time in 1:31.188. So Nicolas having issues on his first hot lap. He's going to be out there again trying to improve it, that's for sure. We do have a Ferrari coming to the line now. Is that Danny? It was. I don't think he's improved. Next up is a Renault. That is definitely not Yolta. That is, in fact, Brownie, who's on I guess, an in-lap, but either way, he's invalidated, so he's not going to improve. And then next up is Nicolas Lange. Then is he going to be the new fastest lap holder?
He got on purple in sector 1, so there's a good chance, but he has gone slower in the second sector than his previous best. He's still going to go for it. Final corner then. Where is he going to end up? Good chance for pole here, I think.
It's going to be tight. Oh, he's not got it.
No, well.
He does improve, but only by a tenth and a bit. Something's not working for him.
Very slow second, third sector. He must have made a mistake in that area twice. As I say, he had a purple sector 1. Sector 2 and 3 were not even personal. And he obviously needs to sort out what he's done there. Get himself sorted and go for it again.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, by the way. Infamous hadn't beaten Hyperz in sector 1 and 2. Only beat him in the final sector. So Hyperz had purple sector 1 and 2.
But then Infamous' sector 3 was just that much better. That impresses me so much when you see... Yeah, exactly. When you see that he was able to recover the gap that Hyperz got in the first 2 sectors. He recovered that in the 3rd sector, and was able to then still put it on pole position as it stands right now. Obviously, we do still have just under 10 minutes remaining of the session. We do still have Preshnida out there to go, and certainly currently so is Yenab and Getund doing hot laps as well. And we've not even yet got on to the tyre that they're going to be qualifying on as we get later on into the session.
I'm just carrying on board with some idiot who's just made a big mistake, like some idiot would. That's him backing out of that lap. Never mind, let's find someone else.
I'm still on board with Preshnida because he's coming through the final sector now. This is looking pretty clear cut that he might actually get P1 here.
No, he's not getting P1. He was a 10th off in the first, a 10th and a half, nearly 2/10 in the second. Unless he's nailed the last sector.
Well, I mean, he's beaten Nicholas. But I don't even know why I didn't back my new favourite driver. Infamous impressed me so much last week. We got a nice, solid interview with him, and I confessed my love to him. And honestly, Infamous has just impressed me so much in his race pace, his general attitude online. He's honestly a role model for many people to look up to. And there's an invalidation for Preshnida, but he's on an in-lap anyway, so nothing to worry about.
Nearly everyone's put a time up so far. Get on the board and still put something on the board. Goopy's well off pace for some reason, but what have you seen?
The Renault boys are giving each other a tow. Now, I've seen, you may remember yourself, I think it was last season, we saw Nickturn and Copy. Obviously, Nickturn no longer races in the RNL. It's now just Chilling who's taken that position. But they used to give each other the tow down that long back straight in both places, as one person would just drive through the chicane out the other side and then give the tow back to the other driver. This is where we're seeing the Renault boys doing the same thing. I just saw Brownie giving Yolta the tow. Has this given Yolta the extra pace he needed to be able to chuck himself further up the field? I mean, we've got a very close gap. Here we go then, to the line. And he goes P3. There it is.
Keep your eyes on Hyperz though. Purple in Sector 2. Final corner coming up for him. Infamous Purple in Sector 1. But lots of pace lost in second sectors. What can happen here? I expect Hyperz will be pole.
Oh, look at that gap.
Infamous, I suspect, will improve, but will not take pole position off him. And we're going to see that in a moment.
Well, I mean, his sector 3 times are the times where we see him improve the most, right? He doesn't, like you said, it was the 10th and a bit, just not enough.
Well, yeah, I mean, Hyperz originally was purple sector 1, beaten then by Infamous. And Infamous' second sector really let him down. Hyperz did a 27.569. Infamous did a 27.732. That's how much time he lost in that second sector. I don't know if anything happened, but yeah, that's where his lap went, and I'm sure he knows that. And he would definitely be sitting top there.
Oh, he left that to the last second. That was very, very close to being a collision with the two Renault drivers. Oh, man, I'm so surprised. I mean, their lap times are very close. Look at that, 0.02 of a second separating the two of them. That's how consistent they are as drivers. But Brownie, he may have just got the extra time because of that tow that he received from Yolta. It literally went right the way to the very end, and it was very scary for Brownie. But Brownie is not easily scared, and he comes to the line, and he doesn't improve.
Yeah, he has the purple in Sector 3. So, obviously something's working for him there, but not this time. Then maybe he had to lift because he started making a little brown stain and his teammate was in the way. It's Preshnida. Where's that come from?
That was a surprise, but a 130.722. He went unnoticed, and he's immediately chucked in the new fastest lap of the session. It's a 130.722. Can Hyperz bring those 400ths of a second in order to bring himself back into race lead? Oh,
Again,
pole sitter.
Preshnida, not a single purple sector. But, I mean, even the first sector, he was over a 10th off the likes of Infamous. He's just, again, that final sector is so crucial. Again, and it's shown Preshnida did a 38.157. Hyperz did a 38.329. So much time is changing in that sector. And maybe fastest in first or second, but the third is where you're going to lose all the time. It is the longest sector time-wise, so that kind of says a lot.
Now, you know the best bit is that we've now just stepped into the calm before the storm. We are at the point now where the drivers are thinking about the strategy and changing onto those final set. I think they already decided that at the beginning what they were going to do, and now they're all doing it. A majority of them have gone onto the mediums. I suspect that everybody will touch the mediums at some point. I would be amazed if anyone goes to the softs. However, those lap times that we've just been singing and praising and dancing about are about to be absolutely demolished with these medium tyres.
Interesting. Jenab hasn't gone in. He is already on the mediums. He's looking for a clean lap, really. That's what he's after. And he's given himself plenty of time. As long as he's given himself plenty of fuel, he might be able to have a second stab at this. So he'll do this lap. You can do a cooldown and then go again if he really wants.
Yeah, it'll be a bit narrow there, to say the least. I think it might be just a little bit too much for him to deliver all that in the remaining time that's there.
Oh, there's plenty of time for it.
So 130 lap time. Well, I mean, we're looking at 129 probably. So at least I've just seen him get a purple first sector. Is that right?
Jenab, no, that is incorrect. He did a 24.8. The current best is 24.7.
Oh, and he's invalidated. That's a big sad. Well, now he's definitely going to get a second run. That's for sure.
Race the pits. If he can race this to the pits, bring it in, change onto a fresh set of boots, that might be the best option for him.
Yeah, potentially. But then again, the mediums work better on the second lap. If he's done a solid, he's done an out lap already, and now he's done partial hot lap. So now he's got the opportunity to improve and go faster.
I think he forgot where the corner was.
Well, Ferrari are doing the same strategy. They've gone for another toe. Panpernik is going to be leading, but they've not quite executed it as well as they needed to. And obviously Panpernik runs off far wide off the line just to make sure he doesn't affect his teammate. But that could have been extra time there for Danny had they executed that a little bit better.
Wow. Hindsight's a wonderful thing at the end of the day, isn't it? If you're trying something for the first time in a qualifying, you've left it too late to even consider. But no harm in trying it, unless you really mess it up. Zones is messing a lot of things up. Here
comes Danny.
Says he's on an outlap, but I know he's on a flying lap.
So, Danny is now taking pole time. The only concern is that these guys that are up there right below him, if I go to the best, he's the only guy so far that's completed a hot lap on the mediums, and he's only 2/10 faster.
Zones with a massive lock-up. I think he's invalidated. He had purple sector 1 did Zones, and that has now just been beaten by one man, Chromatic, who's backed off as well.
So Schneider is coming up to start a hot lap. We have, I'm looking, I saw Infamous start his hot lap as well. He is currently there. Hyperz is going for it as well, but he's, the Mercedes boys are actually doing the toe look.
Infamous is backed off. Hyperz is not backed off just yet. That's well played there.
Is Geton going to do the strategy where he goes shooting through and comes out the other side? Yes, he is. If this is done correctly, he could have carried it on. If he'd have just carried on, he would have been able to give him that extra bit more toe. And that would have been so good for them to do. But no, Hyperz will not get that extra bit of time.
Has that been allowed, has it? That they're allowed to do that?
Why not?
Well, it's not sticking to the track. If you do that in actual F1, you have to stick to the track and go through the chicane, don't you? Not the actual chicane, but the chicane of styrofoam. I
mean, you also don't see official F1 teams giving each other the toe in qualifying.
Well, you do actually, but...
Do you?
Monza particularly, yes. Do you not remember the farce?
No, I remember that bit.
How powerful it was?
No, that's the only track I've seen them do it on, to be honest. But Hyperz sets a new fastest with a 1:29.6, almost a full second faster than the previous lap times that was set. In fact, no, it is. It's a second and a bit faster than the hard time.
Well, that's the toe down the back straight has helped him out a little bit there. Purple sector 2 and 3 to boot. Actually, technically it shows sector 1, but I don't know that's not correct. So, where is Schneider? He's on a mode 0 lap, so he's about to start again. Danny Coe's had enough. P3 is best for him. Panpernik as well, had enough.
Yep.
Where is...
Yolta did a lap, but invalidated, or at least wasn't happy with his lap, so he's going to have to go again. Brownie's not going to get the toe this time then, because Yolta is having to execute a hot lap here. So Renault may have shot themselves in the foot here. Let's see now. We've got another McLaren to the line. That's Zones who's finished. He was a second and a bit faster. He was 29.7. That would have put him P2 right now, except it was invalidated. So he will be starting at no better than P10.
Get Owned is on his way. He's given the toe. He got a little bit back.
Ooh. Infamous. Not as fast as we expected. 4/10 off of Hyper's lap time.
I think he was in mode 0 when I last saw him. Crow only gets P2. He's well off the pace as well. That's the toe for you, isn't it, really?
The toe, but also general race pace, because obviously the toe would have given you quite a large amount of time, but we're not talking like a full second, we're talking a few tenths. As just turns
over
as
2
well.
tenths in the second sector. Hyperz was faster than Crow.
This now comes down to Preschneider. Can Preschneider? Oh, he cannot. He's got very little ERS to work with, 19%. It should be enough to get him to the end of this, but he's not going to have that much to sprint away with. Oh, has he got this? This might be Paul. I just don't know. No. There we go, it is. So it's P9 is the best he's going to get. The only question is now is can Dennis improve to knock him further down? No one else can jump him now. Preschneider is going to be in some serious trouble coming to this French Grand Prix. That was a bit of a lock-up there from Dennis. I don't think this is going to be enough to get him into the top 10. It was P12. Well, good start for Hyperz then. Looking at it, Mercedes boys got some serious toe out of that, and it's put him on pole by 4/10. That might actually have been, like I said, the toe. But here we go then at the end of the qualifying. This is the rundown. Everybody in the top 10, bar one person, actually qualified on the mediums. So Hyperz... Oh, actually, Preschneider is going to be starting the race on hards.
Interesting tactical.
Well, he's not got a choice. He didn't do his medium lap time quick enough. So he's having to start on hards. And that actually could work. Ooh, I'm excited. I just realised Preschneider is basically going to get the power that P11 gets.
But
in
how many
P9.
laps did he do?
I think he only did 2. I think he only did 2. Because he went in, changed, and came back out again.
Where you shall...
Ooh.
Well, we won't find out, will we?
Well, we might find out. Or we won't find out how many laps they've done unless he has to pit earlier than the others. I guess that's the only real indicator. But... Oh, this is going to be a really exciting race. I can't wait to see how this pans out. He'll get into some fresh air later. When everybody else on these mediums has to pit, he'll just start running away with it a little bit and start to keep those tyres under check, start to keep everything cool and refreshed and happy. And then he might be able to, when he gets on those mediums, that's the bit where it comes together. That's the bit where we see Preschneider's pace just suddenly come out now. Hit those medium tyres on, the grip levels become obscene, and you're just thinking, I can push harder than anyone else on this track. How do I do this? Amkasa, I need your top 3 predictions right here. Go.
I'm going to give Hyperz the win. Hyperz, Crow, Preschneider.
You're not putting Infamous in the top 3?
Nah. He's going to have problems. He's going to get tangled with Brownlee.
See, here's where I think you're wrong. Okay, let me explain. Hyperz is going to get the win, for sure. I'm almost confident that that's going to happen. The only way that doesn't happen is if he has a really poor start, which Nicolas... So obviously Nicolas is going to be starting right behind him, so he will have the ability to try and send it on him. I don't think he's going to get that good a start in order to jump Hyperz that quickly. Hyperz has been working on his starts quite substantially, so there is a good chance for him to keep that in check.
He's pushing him already.
I'm going Hyperz, Infamous, Preschneider.
So Crow not even top 3?
Crow not even top 3.
Oh.
He's gonna kill me when he watches
I know,
this back. He's gonna find me. He's gonna hunt me down and kill me, and he's gonna just be so upset that I haven't put him in the top 3 in the qualifying or the race.
I thought he's not in here already, having a go at you. Sniffing you out.
I'm not hallucinating, am I? Brownie's P2.
Yes.
Wow.
That's the power of the toe for you.
I didn't see that. Brownie got P2.
That's why I've not even considered him for a podium, because he benefited so much from the toe. He does have pace, don't get me wrong, but he's not got podium pace in this league unless something serious happens with everyone else. So, and that's why I reckon Infamous is not getting a podium, because he's going to get tangled with Brownlee early on. trying to get past him. Crow's going to leapfrog Brownie from the start, and we won't tangle. We won't get close to Hyperz. Hyperz will be ahead. Got a 2-place on him, but Crow will nail the start past Brownie. Infamous will tangle with Brownie, probably in corner number 3.
Well, we'll find out. This is the start then of the France Grand Prix here in the F1 cars. We have an unusual lineup in the top 3 with Hyperz on pole. That's the usual bit, but the unusual bit is Brownie slotting in there in P2 with Nicolas in P3 and Infamous in P4. Get ready for an exciting start. Who is going to get the start of dreams? Is Hyperz going to be able to hold it going in towards turn 1? Well, the moment is now. Get ready. Get your votes in at lap 19. That's when it starts. Be ready. And we are go here in France, and Hyperz has got a decent start. I think Brownie might have actually got better. He's going to go around the outside of him. Hyperz is in serious trouble. Nicolas Longe is trying to get involved in this as well. Hyperz is still there, but Brownie is going to hold it. Or is he? No, he's not. He's lost it. Oh, there's a mega issue for him. He dives out of the way of everybody. And somehow Brownie does not cause a major collision through that one mistake. But there is Infamous, who's just cut the car under there. Look at that, already a 3-second time penalty. That is a Ferrari that's gone in there, as well as Pampernick. Get on now up in a P4. He's already looking for a great start. There's Beaker on the inside in P5. Who'd have thought you'd have said that in season 4 of RNL, but he's doing it. Beaker is closing in on Get On, and I think Infamous is trying to work on Nicolas Longe, whereas Hyperz is running away.
Yep, McLaren boys are swapping over further back as well as Zones goes past Gooby down the back straight and up himself to P9 on the back of Presneider. 2 Ferrari boys are sliding out the corner. Pampernick's gone very well in the exits. Danico going to get a power on. No, he's not. Pampernick holds that position. Ferrari boys, I saw you earlier, doing a massive mistake down at turn 4, cutting the entire corner. So the fact they're still there is a good sign from them. But yeah, was that Infamous we saw already had a 3-second penalty?
Yes, there was contact with a Ferrari. I think Pampernick clipped him a little bit and made it so he had to go off the track. As Presneider's going around the outside of zones, it's not quite worked out. He's been squeezed onto the curb, so he's going to have to slot back in again into P9. But he's starting to show pace. He's starting to show opportunities coming in. We're only on lap 1. Remember, he's on the hard tyres.
Sorry, Zone's down the inside of Danico. He's not going to get it, but that was a dive and a half and could have ended so much worse for both of them. And he's now going to sit back and try and compose himself and go once again.
Yep, indeed. There is actually Zone still working on Danico. It's not yet over, but there's just not really an opportunity to attack in this first sector. The only way you can do it is into turn 1-2, unless you get a sudden lunge through turn 3, but you really don't want to do that because it's such a hard braking zone into turn 4, and it just can go wrong if you get a little bit too hot on the brakes, as Zones is now ready and firing up towards Danico. Presneider is working these hards quite nicely. I am very confident he can pull this back somehow.
I'm just confusing about the Infamous thing. To get a 3-second penalty, you've had to have got 3 warning.
No, he cut turn 3 seriously hard. It was very firm. No, you just got an insta-3. It's relative to how fast you were cutting. If you just bolt straight across it, you will get that straight up 5 second, maybe even a 10 second. But if you slow it down, you will be able to bring it down a fair bit. So yeah, he has got a 3-second, that's for sure. Whether or not it'll get removed later, we don't know. But Gooby's going for Yenab. This is an inside line. He's going to get it. What a move. Gooby. Oh, Yenab's coming straight back at him. What a cutback from Yenab. He's still there, but I think Gooby's managed to get P11 secured, or Yenab's going to try and go around the outside. He's got the pace for it. He's getting squeezed onto the curb, and Yenab's still there. He's not out of this at all. In fact, I think Yenab might get it. Oh, there's contact. That's caused Gooby to lose the rear. And Yenab's back in at P11. That was a very close encounter. Definitely a Code Brown, but Dennis is in the pits already, and he's on the hards right now. What can he go to?
Well, he's going to have to go to softs or mediums. I would have thought you go to softs at this point, put some hard, fast laps in, then change back to hards. But he's gone for the mediums. We'll see how that works out, because he's not going to take those to the end, that's for sure. Not at this stage. Maybe once you get into the double figures, then it becomes a bit easier to take mediums to the end, but he's going to have to hope for a safety car now. It's all he can hope for. As Beaker is half a second off Get Owned, as Crow's closing up to the back of Hyperz. Is he going to go for one down the inside? He thought about it, but...
Oh, this is the bit we were talking about, though, wasn't it? We were saying how Hyperz tends to live in the shadow of Nicolas Longe, sadly. This is his moment where he's going to add that extra pressure to himself when he knows that Nicolas is coming for him. He knows the sort of banter that Nicolas will have with him on this, and Hyperz will not let this go down. He will fight hard, and he will make sure he gives no opportunities to Nicolas where possible. And Infamous is very much aware of this too. He will try his hardest to get through here and properly nail it.
Going and Beaker swapping places down there in 4th and 5th. Beaker had the position, he's lost it now, but Gaon's got a terrible drop off the corner. Beaker's going to look down the inside here. He looks. Gaon says no. And Beaker says, actually, yeah, you're right. But Gaon is now compromised through the final corner, which means Beaker's going to get a better run out of it. Does he fancy a move down the home straight? I think the answer to that is yes, he does fancy a move down the home straight. And he has moved up then to P4. Yeah. And who thought we'd be saying that at the beginning of the season?
Well, beginning, middle, end, whatever you want to call it. I didn't think we was going to be seeing that right now. But, I mean, look at Beaker's ERS levels. That's the worry. Beaker has burnt so much to get him into P4. And now it's the question of, well, did that benefit you? Have you actually gained anything from this? Because you're going to lose this position right now because you made that pass on Get Earned. Like, you haven't got DRS to work with. You haven't really got that much ERS to work with. Get Earned can just sit in your toe for a while. And then go for it. There's a swap between race leaders as Nicolas Longue has made it through the inside of Hyperz, and that is a change in race lead. Nicolas Longue will try to hold this now, but Hyperz is here. He's not going to let him go, and DRS being such a dominant factor on this track, he can absolutely not count them out.
Zone's missed out the chicane. He's coming back on. He's going to lose a place to Presnyder. Was that a Presnyder nudge in the back end of him?
I don't think it was. I think it was Zones came off to defend it. Presnyder very quickly reacted and dodged it and actually made the overtake stick as well. And he's looking for Danico. His Zone's going to come down the inside. He's trying to find a way in. Presnyder's doing work on these hards right now. I'm just so amazed that he's able to keep the pace that he's got and just keep taking cars left, right, and centre. He's going for
Monaco again, isn't it?
And it really is. It really is.
He's doing something you don't expect to see. He's absolutely sending it on a set of hards against people on relatively fresh mediums. He's got better pace than everyone around him on harder tyres. And it is going to be shown on that back straight when he gets up to Danico. Danico will get DRS from his teammate in front of him. That's the problem now for Presnyder. He needs to get past because there's only one person in front of this, and it's Beaker who's not getting DRS. So he needs to carve his way through. As Zones is looking to make moves back at him, he's going to go down the inside into turn 4. And no, he's not.
No, he tried it. There's a little bit of a nudge there between the wing of Zones and the left rear of Presnyder. No puncture on his car, which is good. You can get a puncture, just not that easily unless you burn the tyres right down. That's when you'll start to worry about it. Right, looking back up at the front then, because they've come through into the chicane and there's no change of position. I think Hyperz has decided, I'm just going to say here, this is fine for me. I'm happy with this.
Yeah, just keep up the pressure. The guy in front's going to have all the mistakes. He's got 2 cars wanting to come past him. Just keep pushing, and Crow might make mistakes. It's not like Crow to make mistakes, so...
well, I mean, I don't know if you saw in the... I don't know if you saw in the Grand Prix last weekend when he made a big mistake and went right into the... Yeah, but still make the mistake, all right? It counts. It counts. I'm
That's
counting
like
it, all right?
me making a mistake using a wheel. I don't use a wheel, so if I make a mistake... It's... He may not... When's the last time you used a controller?
I've not used it for a long time. But I am looking at... There's 3 major battles going on here. You've got the battle for P1, 2, and 3, which is obviously Nicolas, Hyperz, and Infamous. Then you've got a big train going on for the mid-pack, or the mid-front pack, should I say, like Beaker, Get On, Pampernick, etc., right the way down to sort of P11. Then you get to P12, which is obviously Gooby, leading that train of cars. And then you got Absinthe, who's right there. He's kind of hanging in just about. He's a little bit further off, but it's still going for him. I want to go and watch this battle again for P1, because they're now coming up to that long DRS straight. Is Hyperz going to pounce, or is Infamous going to see anything and do it? Go for a move on it?
Well, Infamous has a double toe, but he really needs to make a double overtake if it's going to work for him. I'm keeping my eyes firmly fixed on Get Owned, who is not going to be making a move on Beaker, unfortunately, but he could lose a place to Pampernick. Pampernick is closing in with that DRS.
Oh!
And nudges the back end. That is a big nudge. That's late on the brake.
Damage.
That is big wing damage.
Yep. End plate gone on that Ferrari. Pampernick in trouble now. Danico's through. Preschneider's looking as well. He's through. His zone's going to be able to capitalize. Look at the pace gain. Yes, he is. Down the inside. But Pampernick's going to have to really defend if he can keep hold that position. But he hasn't got the wing for it. Oh, he almost lost the car. Pampernick falling to P10 now. It just shows how much you need these end plates. And just getting caught out by the braking zone a little bit there was Pampernick. And that caused him to get that wing damage. And now he's lost a lot of places as a result.
Jenna trying to make moves on zones up ahead. Everyone's vying for the same bit of tarmac here. Pampernick has 44% front left, 19% front right damage. And that's not remaining, it's damage. So he's definitely going to have to pit much earlier than he thought. He's got to go to hards from here, I think, and try his best to take them to the end.
Preschneider on Danico. He's looking for an inside move into turn 1. It's going to be a tough one. He's a bit later on the brakes, but again, has to back right out of that, and Danico gets a tight line, doesn't get the XE needed, but oh, he might actually get him here. He needs to get him quickly because that gap in front of him is starting to expand even further than before. They're going to go wheel to wheel, a little bit of clip there between the two of them, but somehow Danico is going to lose his position as Preschneider's through, very much sort of elbows out, and Zones laps that opportunity up as well, and he might get Preschneider here because they do not have DRS. Oh, sorry, Preschneider does not have DRS. Zones is very much in that, and he knows it. Preschneider's in trouble. He hasn't got an answer to this unless he can hold the inside. I don't know whether or not you want to. This is going to be very tight, very late on the brakes, but I think Zones has got it done. Yes, he has. Up now into P6, and he really needs to go and buy a lottery ticket because that worked heavily in his favour.
I'll keep my eyes on Hyperz, just seeing what he's doing out front. He was weaving a bit down the back straight as if to say, look, I'm still here, I'm still here. Close to the DRS quite early to prevent himself from going into the braking zone and a chance to overtake. I think.
Oh, they're still going. Preschneider and Zones are still battling. Preschneider's right back on him again. Zones is in serious trouble. He's having to squeeze Preschneider off, and look at Yenab trying to find an inside line. He couldn't get it. Somehow, Preschneider's still here fighting with Zones. I'm just amazed that they're keeping it so close, so interesting. And final corner, Zones now, he's in big trouble. Has he got back into DRS? He has not. It's a 1.3, so there is an opportunity for Preschneider to pass Zones here, but do you want to? Do you really want to pass? Nope, he says, look, mode 0. He knows if you're going to pass, wait for that back straight and then use sector 3 as a method to gain some distance, or at least close in on what is now Ghetto and Beaker's little battle for P4.
Well, Preschneider has the pace in that final sector to make anything happen, I'd say. So, yeah, he needs to get past Zones on this next straight. Zones doing a little bit of wiggling down the home straight as if to say, are you coming or am I waiting? Out front though, Hyperz and Crow. Again, Hyperz pulled out.
Left the toe just so he didn't close in on him. Is Nicolas actually... I mean, he's burning a little bit of ERS. He's sat about halfway. But he's not really doing anything special. He's not having to burn anything at all to try and keep himself alive in this. It's just mode 3, mode 2, and that's it. Whereas Hyperz is sat in a big donut. He doesn't have to put any ERS into this if he doesn't want to. He's only doing it a little bit just to make sure that Nicolas doesn't just suddenly escape and get manage to get a second gap.
Could he be waiting for the pit stop window to try and make his move? That's the best time to do it, really, isn't it? When you're passing this close for so long.
Yolta,
make
where'd that
the
come from?
undercut and go hard.
Yeah,
That's what Hyperz is waiting for. He's saving up a bit of fuel, saving up that ARS. Pit stop window will be coming up probably in the next few laps for most of these people. We have seen a few medium stop already. That's JC, Absinthe, Pampernick and some idiot have all stopped. Pampernick was enforced stop. Maybe they're just going to wait out for as long as they dare for a safety car, because that can change so much in this race.
Yep. There's a nice little battle going on between Pampernick and Samidia. They are pretty much together. Copy and Gooby have swapped places. Gooby's in trouble. Not going to be able to hold on to his position for much longer if Copy's going to finish say on it, and Copy is through. Oh, hey, look at this. Brownie's coming. Hello, Brownie. What are you going to do about this? Oh, there's contact. That was very nearly a moment between the two McLaren and the Williams driver. Brownie's still here. He's still on the inside. Gooby's ran seriously wide, and Brownie is through now up into P12, trying to recover, considering he was P2 at the start of this race.
That was French on French, friendly fires. Ghetto's making moves on Beaker, send one down the inside. Oh! Nearly nudges Beaker, gets away with that one. If that was millimetres off, sending Beaker round, right round, baby, right round, and gets away with it.
Well, that's now brought the battle for P4 back to being a very large train again, from P4 right the way down to P10. because of the fact that Get-On lost so much time, because Beaker had to defend so hard, and Zones is right here on the back of that Mercedes. I don't know if he's going to be able to do anything in Sector 3. Again, probably going to have to wait until we get to that long back straight. That's going to be the major factor here, and I think, ultimately, that's where majority of the overtakes are going to happen in this train.
Well, you say that, but I don't think there's going to be many overtakes in the train. It's quite hard to do so. You need to take your shots when they're there to try and destabilise the guy in front of you.
You mean like this one that Zones is doing to Get-On? Because he's really fired up. Look how close he is to back. Get-On must be on 1-1 wings to be able to pull away like that. That's absolutely phenomenal. And Get-On still really keeping close to the back of that Red Bull of Beaker. Zones kind of got caught out a little bit. He's not lost that much time. He's lost a tenth and a bit. But in a race where it's about the thousandths of a second, a tenth is quite a large time.
Track temperature has just dropped a degree. Just to keep you updated. It is 21 air, 29 track. It was at the start of the race 31 track. Could that be a significant factor? Could we be heading towards a potentially wet finish? I don't think so. It's nice to keep the conspiracies going.
Get-On's lost the rear. Oh, that was so very nearly a massive collision. Pressure is trying to capitalise on this. Zones ran off the track. And Pressure again, he's just kind of hanging in here, not really attacking right now. He's a 10th up, don't get me wrong, he's feeling very comfortable. But, again, on these hard tyres, Yolta, who's also on these hard tyres.
Go for it, sorry, get out, nudged. Zones has lost the back end. Big tonnage, he's placed for Schneider. No,
what a catch.
How did he that?
What a catch from Zones. Fair play, sir. Keep it up as Preshneider again. He's still within the gap as well. How has he done that? He's not lost any time. We have had a change of race leader as Hyperz has gone into the pits. So that is, he's going for the undercut here.
Yep. I think the England cricket team needs to phone up Zones and get him in because he has got safe hands.
Yep.
As pit stop window is flying. Now is not the time for a safety car for most of these drivers. Hyperz does not want one right about now.
Get gets a 3 second. Yeah, these mediums are starting to disappear now. The guys are really starting to struggle on these tyres, and it makes it even more impressive to know that Zones managed to catch that car whilst his tyres are this destroyed, and that's just phenomenal to even think about. Honestly, I'm now thinking about maybe I should have counted Yolta in this a bit more, because the fact that he's going from hards to mediums and he's where Preshneider is right now, this is huge for him. He's got such an opportunity to get some solid points for his team.
In terms of where, I can tell you Beaker's tyres were...
Oh, Preshneider, what a lunge into the chicane at the end of the straight, but Zones is still alongside him. Preshneider's got the exit. What a move, Preshneider. How is he alive? How is he doing this? This is not human.
He's going to lose it back, though. Zones is right there. Actually, I doesn't say that. Preshneider's pulling away. Never mind. Preshneider's got that. Yeah, Beaker's tyres
how did he do that?
Gone.
That was phenomenal.
39% on Beaker's tyres when he pitted. That's indication of how worn the mediums are right about now. As you can see, Crow's coming in, Infamous is coming in. As Hyperz made the undercut.
He's currently down in P11, and Gooby is ahead of him, so he will actually get the toe on the back straight, on the home straight, sorry, if he doesn't already pass him by that point, which I don't think he will, because these hards will be very cold. Where is Nicholas? He's on his way out. This is going to be very close, actually. I think Hyperz may have done it. Hyperz may have actually got this. You can see on the map at the bottom right how close this is going to be. Here comes Hyperz. Nicholas is now free. There's Infamous. He's lost out. Unless he goes for a late lunge, which he's trying, but it's not going to work out. It's so close. A little bit of a contact. That undercut backfired massively, and now Nicholas has got an even larger gap. Infamous is outside of the 1 second margin, and Hyperz is in some serious trouble now.
He took the risk. He rolled the dice. He came up to Snake Eyes. Hyperz now has his work to cut out. And if he wants to get a win here today, he needs to get past Infamous now. And Infamous tyres will still be cold, but he's too far back.
Yeah, he's just that bit too much in trouble now. It's whether or not Hyperz is going to go for it early and should try and bring himself closer to Infamous as much as possible. And then pass him and then slingshot past him to go up and close in on Nicholas Longo's time. But that gap is increasing. That's not getting shorter. I think Nicholas is... Yeah, he has. Look at his ERS usage. He knows I absolutely have to bolt it right now in order to secure... keep this 1 second margin because Hyperz is coming.
Yeah, but Nicholas needs to get past Copy first of all. And in Sector 3, it is not easy to make the overtake, so he's going to lose a little bit of time himself here against the slower car. As you can see, he's right off the back end of Copy, and this is where it could cost him
Presschneider's
so
in.
much.
It's a bit early.
Cool. Well, these guys did 11, 12 laps on the mediums, so it's foreseeable that he could do the rest of the race on the mediums and be fine. He's going to have less fuel, less going through it as Crow gets himself up to P4 then. When Infamous is now going to be right on the back of Copy shortly as well, so who knows what's going to happen in the rest of this race. Presschneider's going to come out in...
Is he gaining place? He's gaining a place,
10th.
hasn't he? I think he's gained overall, because he's actually now on the back of Get Owned, and Beaker's only just a little bit further ahead. He's within DRS range of Get Owned. This is where Presschneider's pace is just going to suddenly increase dramatically here. I think we're about to see something mega come out of this car.
Well, he's going to gain at least Get Owned on this back straight, even if Get Owned has DRS from Beaker, which I think he's going to quite get. She might have just nicked it there. He has.
Nicholas, is he within that 1 second margin? They are so close to it. Look at that gap. 1-0, it's now 1-1, but this is really showing a positive sign here for Hyperz. He needs to get past Copy quickly, though. He's going for it in Rainbow Road. He's made that work. Clearly, he's got a mushroom in his car because he just bolted past Copy. Very simple for him now. Infamous is very much in the sights again of Hyperz.
Get Owned. Same corner, Rainbow Road. Presschneider. Yep, he's definitely got a lot of room there to go through. As Yelta's pissing on his hards. So Zone's going to come in. No, Zone's just staying out.
Yelta's in.
Yanab's staying out as well. The medium runners are going long. They can't seriously be thinking mediums to softs.
It would be crazy to try. But I think if you can make it to lap 17, lap 18, you have a chance. The softs will fall apart though. Oh, Beaker's in trouble. Here comes Presschneider then. Look how quick he's closing in on him. Takes the inside, and that's very much a move done and dusted. Beaker will get the toe here. This is great for him, to be honest, as Jota is now a little bit further back than he wanted to be. Presschneider got so much time and pace out of that car with the DRS ahead of him on Ghetto and Beaker through the previous lap. Beaker with a time penalty, that might put a dampener into his spirits, considering how well he's done so far this race.
Yeah, we'll do a penalty update for you later. Once Zones and Yenab have pitted, along with Copy, there will be a full-on update. There's not a lot of penalties just yet on my screen, but I think Absent picked up a 5 second spin in the pit lane penalty, but you might have served that by now. And Beaker not catching up to Presschneider. Presschneider's nearly broken that 1 second window. 0.77 is the gap, and it's only going to go one way from this point out, as JC picks up a penalty down there in 15th.
He does indeed. Okay, the gap is still at 1.2 between Infamous and Nicholas. That's not changing, at least it's not right now. I want to see Infamous get himself back into that toe. If he can just burn a little bit more ERS, because Nicholas doesn't have very much at all, and all he has to do is just get himself into that 1 second margin and hold on to it. Because of the fact that Nicholas is in so much trouble from this is giving Hyperz a really good run. He's so further ahead in terms of ERS usage. He's got 59% on his car. Presschneider sets the fastest lap with a 1:32.889. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a chain reaction of just him getting fastest lap after fastest lap for now. We'll see how that pans out. But 10.2 is the gap he's got currently to Copy. Yolta gets a penalty. He is working closer, but that's all we're going to get for now.
I definitely think those front two, they've got to be going for softs from here. They've left it too late to go to the hards, realistically. They've overused the mediums. You should have gone to the hards a couple of laps ago at the latest, I would have thought. My opinion anyway, but who knows? Maybe they know something I don't. Maybe they're expecting to suddenly start chucking it down. I don't have data on either of their tyres, so I can't help you.
Well, that's fair enough.
Beaker get owned. Get owned, jump the corner a little bit. Beaker's still there. Get owned has the overtake made. Look a little off track to me, but what's done is done. Beaker's squeezing him. This could end in tears. It hasn't, fortunately for them.
Nope, yes. Okay, cool. So, I mean, it's a very interesting time right now. We are seeing... Oh, that was Beaker almost losing the relay. Still keeping it with Get Earned. But... Oh, here comes a lunge from Yolta. Where did that come from? Straight down the inside. Beaker's just... Well, there's a Renault here. Where did that appear? I'll sit here in the back of him and go back on in the inside. He's not going to get it. That was very much a ambitious attempt. He's not happy that Yolta did that, but Yolta did nothing wrong. He just caught him by surprise, just snatched that away from him. And now Beaker is scared that he's going to lose these places. Copy's finally in, so he's going to drop down the field now. But here is Yolta on Get On, coming in towards P7. And I said earlier, the penalties will be, the points will be looking good here for Renault potentially. If Yolta can continue this, we will to wait and see. As Hammer Time, who is the Jeff for Renault, has joined us in the commentary booth. How you doing?
Not too bad. Just enjoying this race, watching Brownie make a comeback, hopefully.
Now, this is a little bit of a roller coaster of emotions for you, I guess, because you've got one driver who was P2 at the start of this race, had a major issue going through turn 1-2. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I'm sure the stewards will handle that later on. Pressional penalty. That could be massive. But you've got Yolta, who currently looks like he's a bullet train.
Yeah, no, Yolta's doing really good. And all the drivers around him, Infamous down to Danico, all have 3 seconds. So they're all kind of just battling it out on track. And then, yeah, Brownie's done good. Just keeping his head down, trying to deal with the cards that he's been dealt and just drive back through the points.
So, obviously, yeah, Brownie did have that major issue in turn 2, which has sent him to the back of the field, and now he's working his way back in. Currently sat P13. Do you think he's got a chance of getting back into the points today? The gap's looking a bit big.
I'm hoping so. It depends on after Zones and Janab. They still haven't pit yet. I don't know. I believe in my driver. Hell yeah, he's going to do it.
All right, that's confidence. Well, thank you very much for joining us in the commentary booth. We hope to see Brownie make his way back forwards, but right now we're looking to see if Yolta can do anything further.
Awesome. I'm going to hop out. Have a great race, guys. See ya.
Thank you. See you soon.
Well, Gavin had a little bit off track there at exit of turn 12, sort of approached to turn 13. Yolta wasn't able to do anything about it, and it's all over the back end of that Mercedes as Nicolas Longe gets himself up to P2. Yenab is now starting to drop, and he's giving... This is good for Crow, though. He's got a buffer now between himself and Hyperz. But at the same time, that also means Hyperz now has someone else to help bring him towards Crow. He's going to get some DRS off him, potentially, if he stays out a little longer. As they've got to be going softs now. There's nothing else to wait for. But yes, okay, track temperature has dropped another degree. It's now down to 28. And officially, it is now overcast. Officially, the weather is overcast, no longer light cloud.
We could see it then. You might be right. We may see a little bit of a rain falling down in a little while. I mean,
it looks darker, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Zones is in. All right, he's decided. So clearly, he isn't going to wet tyres of any kind because it's nowhere near wet conditions. He's going to have to go softs. That's the only logical decision to make now. It's just, will they last to the end of the race? Honestly, I think when you get to like P8, lap 8 of those tyres, I think they're going to just disappear. I don't think he's going to be able to keep that pace going.
Maybe he's hoping for the rain to start coming in the next sort of 5 laps or so he can make real use of those softs, put through some quality pace lap.
Hold that thought. Yolta's going for Get On. This is going to work out wonders for him. He's up into P6. Beaker's trying to get in this as well, but he's not going to be able to do anything until we get to that back straight. And he might be able to get Earned, although Yolta, he's only just ahead of Get On right now. In terms of ERS usage, they're all about on par. I don't think anybody is currently going to gain much more other than Zones. Zones is the man to watch here. On these soft tyres, they're already at temperature by the time you even got through turn 1, just because of how easy it is to warm these up. But these guys are on hards, except for Yolta, who's on mediums, and here comes Zones then looking for Beaker. The DRS and the toe is going to be huge, and there is the wing open, but he's not gone for mode 4. There it is. He's finally chosen it. I don't think he can get him. He must be on like 11 wings and Beaker's on 1-1 because he can't get it, but he's gone for the late lunge into the corner. A little bit of contact. I say a little bit, a lot of contact, and Beaker's trying to hold him there. Beaker needs to let him go. Just let him go. You're not going to defend this, and all you're going to do is impact your own race. But Zones has finally made it through. He's into P8. He's still within DRS range of Get On, so this battle is not over.
Yeah, it's all changed up towards the front as well as Yanab's dropped back down to P4. He's staying out though once again. Is he doing what you did? and forgot where the pit lane entry is, and he's been doing this for the last 5 laps.
I mean, I did it in qualifying, so it doesn't count. He's doing it in the race, okay? Leave me out of this, all right? Let's just focus on Yenab trying to keep with Infamous. I mean, he's doing a good job. They passed him a little while ago, and he's still sat within that toe and in the DRS range. I think that's going to end pretty quickly, considering, you know, he is 18 laps in on these mediums. I did just miss Zones getting past Geton there. Looked pretty simple, but I think that was a mistake from Geton, because look at the gap that Zones and Yolta have got now. Oh,
He's right up there.
I have some good news for you, Amkasa. Are you ready?
Is it going to rain?
No. But Driver of the Day voting has now been opened. If you would like to submit your vote for Driver of the Day, do ! Vote in the chat and you'll get a link to the form to where you can go and submit who you believe should be Driver of the Day. Any thoughts right now, Amkasa, on who's your Driver of the Day?
You were asking me about 8 laps too early.
Well, I mean, I said thoughts.
No,
I didn't say give me a firm one.
There's no thoughts whatsoever because there's so much left of this race. I can't tell you who Driver of the Day is until that checker flag is out.
See, I'm kind of looking towards Yolta, if I'm honest. I think he's really just demonstrated such a strong performance. Although we kind of have to give it to Beaker as well, right? Like, do we think he was ever going to be in this position? We'll have to wait and see.
There's a long way left of this race.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I'm holding my tongue until that end, because Zones is now up to P6 and going to be setting his sights on Preshnida. And Yenab has finally pitted, and he has to be going to softs from here. He's crazy to go for anything else.
Yeah. But I mean, this is probably more believable that the softs will work from here.
Yes.
Right, if Yenab can get on the softs, he's only got 7 laps to do it, and I said around about lap 8, I think I said, is when they're going to start to fall apart, in my opinion. But I mean, if he can get on these softs and come out pretty much here in this battle for P6, he could be. He's just a bit too far back here. He's losing so much. And he was very late to get the speed limiter off as well. Look at this. He's losing places. He's going to come out in a battle. Dennis gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He's going to be right there next to his teammate. And we saw what happened in Monaco when these two boys were working together. It worked magic for them. I think they're going to need nothing short of a miracle to replicate that here today.
I think you need more than a miracle to get towards P3 for those Alpha boys. But who knows? Miracles have been performed in the past. I think the only miracle they can hope for is a safety car combined with sudden onset massive rain. And everyone else in front of them spins off. I think that's all they can hope for at this point in time.
Yep.
As Beaker and Get Owned are swapping places. Get Owned is... Beaker's offline. As he's come back on behind. Technically he is behind.
Yeah.
But he's
got a good run. Get Owned is just that bit faster though. Again, Get Owned must be using 1-1 wings because that's the only way that he could have absolutely just took off coming through there. Beaker still trying to work his way around. Oh, actually, I'm just watching Yolta. He might gain a fair bit here. If he can stay with Zones, he might be able to gain quite a considerable amount of time, as Infamous is still within DRS range of Hyperz. Hyperz just cannot bring himself into the DRS range of Nicolas. And, I mean, Nicolas is struggling for ERS. Look at that. 16% before you get to the braking zone for turn 3. I mean, Hyperz is only a little bit better than that, but we're literally talking 3-4% difference between them. It's when you get to Infamous, who's ready to just fire away now. They might want to work together. If they want to get a chance of getting P1, they might want to work together to try and just pass each other on the straights and slingshot up towards Nicolas.
You say that, but there's a reason things are happening as they are, and that is to do with the screen on my left, which is the penalty screen.
Oh, give us a penalty update, please, Amkasa.
Nicolas Longue, 3 seconds. Hyperz, 0 seconds. Infamous, 3 seconds. And then it's 3 seconds for Preshnida, Zones and Yelta. Get Owned is on 6, Beaker's on 3, Jenab on 0, so he's looking good as it stands. 3 seconds for Danny, Pampanik is also on 3. Then it's 0 for Samidiot, Brownie and Copy. JC and Gooby on 3, and Dennis currently on 6, along with, I believe, another 5 seconds.
Yep, speeding.
That generally excludes any speeding penalties that are to be applied because we don't have record of those on the tracking app. So, Hyperz is currently effectively P1.
Yeah. So Hyperz is going to want to defend this then. He's not going to want to help him.
Hello, Jenab. Sorry, I'm watching Beaker. Jenab just appeared from nowhere.
And Beaker's had that happen to him a few times in this race. He's not able to sort of hold it, and you can see there, look at that, runs seriously wide because he's just not got the grip in those tyres to be able to stay alongside of him, and he knows, I can't battle him. Why not just let him go? He's clearly faster, just let him go.
Yeah, I'm looking, keeping my eyes on the gap between Zones and Presnida. That's not coming down. That's a let through, I think, might get owned.
Well, it's actually backfired a little bit because Beaker's so quick to the back of him, he just couldn't find a gap. He had no control in order to get through there. Beaker just has to sit behind him, and that's it. Job done, really.
Now Ghetto needs to stay on the back of Jenna for another couple of laps. Use that DRS that he's going to get just to keep yourself ahead of Beaker. It's all going to be for now at the end of the day because Ghetto has 3 seconds more than Beaker, and is not going to get DRS, so Beaker can play the waiting game quite happily as Dennis goes fastest.
So Infamous and Hyperz, they are still pretty close together. Infamous is now in with a chance of passing him, but that 3-second penalty means it's all for nothing really, and Hyperz needs to know that. If he doesn't already, he should do. Every one of these drivers has a race engineer for their team that they can communicate to, find out penalties, find out tyre situation, and a range of different data is available to them. It's just how they utilise that is what makes a massive difference. Hyperz will probably know that Nicolas has the 3-second penalty, and so Hyperz is just kind of hanging in there, not losing anything, although Nicolas seems to have turned the wick up because he is going.
He's got to. Maybe he's just tuned in and heard. Maybe his engineer's not told. I don't think Race Point actually have an engineer here today, but hopefully he knows the situation. Even as Jeff should, in-game Jeff should say the car behind hasn't got a penalty or something. And for pro's sake, he's got to hope Infamous messes up Hyperz. Just gets in his head, sends some questionable overtakes, and that'll destabilise him. And you can see he's really starting to pull away. Yep,
as I'm saying, he's just turned that wick up, and suddenly Nicolas is feeling very comfortable and is starting to break that gap even more. 1.9. I don't think it's tyre situation. I think Hyperz is too busy staring in his rearview mirror, watching Infamous coming for him.
Well, even then, Infamous has a 3-second penalty as well. Unless Hyperz is... I don't know what Hyperz can be doing. He's worrying about the wrong car.
He's not charging ERS because he's in the lowest ERS that I think than anyone on the track. I mean, Nicolas absolutely burnt a lot of his away in order to get that gap he's got currently. So they're both in the same boat. I think, honestly, Hyperz could really have just sat in the normal routine he was doing with his ERS. There was no reason to burn it away to try and close that gap anymore. At the minute, he's just going to lose everything if he burns it any more than he has to. And Nicolas is in mode 5. He's then flicked to mode 4, and obviously he's going down them as he shifts up. But realistically, Hyperz has this one in the bag. The only way this goes wrong is if Infamous has a questionable overtake or Hyperz has a questionable defensive move. I think that's pretty much the only way this fails.
I mean, you say this is wins in the bag for Hyperz. I completely disagree. If we look at the last full lap, Hyperz has lost over half a second. This wins in Crow's bag.
I don't know. I don't think it is. I think it's close. I think it's going to be very marginal, but Nicolas is in trouble. I think Nicolas hasn't quite got an answer to the situation. He's deploying ERS like you've never seen before, and in a similar boat to Zones, he's trying to think about how he can hold this as Yolta's through. Look at that. Very quick to get through, but the only worry is he's done it too early. There's the detection line, and here's the activation line. So now Yolta, yes, he made a beautiful overtake, don't get me wrong, but Zones is going to... Oh, he's turned it off. Okay, he's not going to pass him by then. So Yolta in a P5.
Wow.
Hyperz in trouble. Hyperz in serious trouble. Yeah, something's gone wrong for Hyperz. You might be right. Nicolas may secure this win. He's got 3 laps and 7/10 to gain, and I don't know if Hyperz is going to be able to manage that pace enough to keep him in this. And Infamous can just say, okay, mode 5, go. And that's it, he's gone. But he won't be able to pass him and keep it.
He's nearly at 100% there, 97% on the exit the corner. Last lap, not this one, just gone. The one before, Crow pulled out 3/10 of a lead. This one gone, it is, quick maths, just shy of 4/10 he's pulled out on that one lap alone. This is in Crow's bag. Hyperz needs to turn the wick up, but has no wick left to use.
Yeah. I mean, he's got fuel, but it depends how close he is on that as well. He looks like he's just so uncomfortable. I think personally, you let Infamous by. Not that Infamous is trying to go by, because otherwise he would have far less ERS than what he's got currently. Although he might now. This is it. Look, mode 4, wing open, he's going for it. This is good for Hyperz. Hyperz just needs to let him by and use that DRS in tow to help manage his ERS and recover out of this now. Infamous might push, because he can still gain on Nicolas. This is where Infamous has the opportunity to do way more than we thought was possible. Keep an eye on that gap.
I still think this is in Crow's hands. It's all for him to lose at this point in time.
I'm calling it now. I'm calling this now. Hyperz to get the win. Infamous to get P2. Nicolas to get P3.
What?
Hyperz is obviously penalty free, so he's got that.
We watched the same race.
But just watch. Infamous has so much ERS to use that he knows, because his race engineer is talking to him to tell him that he has the same penalty as Nicolas. So all he has to do is just use that ERS. Nicolas has nothing. He's got 20%, and that's after the final braking zone. He's got no solution to this. There is nothing. He has everything about to crumble for him. All Infamous has to do is just use the ERS. He's got this lap and the next to do it in. If he can pass him, this would make some serious scenes. Infamous has to push, though, and he's not doing that. That's the bit that's worrying me, is he's not going for it. I think he thinks he's safe, but he's not.
It's Crow Hyperz Infamous any day of the week in this. I can't see Infamous taking the win off Crow. Crow, yes, okay, may not have as much ERS, but he's a quick racer. That goes without saying.
Why is Infamous using...
Down
oh,
mode
no.
4. See?
The scenes.
This has got in Hyper's head. He wants the position on track. He's made that decision.
No, I think he's fine. It's close, but I think he can stick this out. Oh, I can't handle this. This is just too nerve-wracking. This is absolutely an opportunity for Hyperz to keep this win in the bag, and he's dumping that ERS. My question is, why is Infamous not trying to close that gap? I mean,
Don't forget, Hyper's probably sitting on 2 warnings at this point in time.
Is he just trying to apply pressure and maybe get him to... It's possible, it's possible.
Penalties are flying left, right and centre for everyone else.
Yeah.
I think Hyperz is likely to pick up a penalty on the final lap. Because he's pushing himself
get on a Beaker. Get on a Beaker, went through Rainbow Road. It was very close between them. Beaker's in P8 right now. Geton is trying to sit on the back of him. He has a lot of ERS to work with, whereas Beaker hasn't got very much at all. Did I just see pressure night of issues?
Brownie's just had a little off.
A little off, he's still off. Yeah, down to P15 then. Things going wrong for the Renaults as Copy and Danico, they're side by side going through the final few corners, and Danico is in P11. Copy is going to have to repay the favour down this back straight. Not sure if Danny's going to be able to... Oh, he's got DRS, so he's got that to work with. I don't know how he managed to get DRS, but Copy's so much faster. I don't think Copy can get him here.
Oh, this is it. I'm watching the front. Hyperz is going to lose out to Infamous here. This could be the race win being over for Hyperz. Infamous is applying pressure.
Oh.
That's a big mistake. No penalty.
Look at the gap. Look at the gap. It's 2.8. We are 0.2 away from it. And I think Infamous is trying to hold him back. It looks like he's trying to impede Hyperz as much as possible in order to stop him from getting that. I mean, surely he doesn't know this. Surely there's no way he can read this situation and stop this. It's 2.9. In fact, they're outside of it. He's outside of it. Hyperz is outside with 3 seconds on Nicolas Longuet.
He's going to be livid.
He's going to be furious. There's no way he's going to bring this back. Surely it's 2.9. I can't handle this. Is this going to be close? Here's Nicolas Longuet going through the final corner. Could potentially take the win. He will definitely cross the line first, that's for sure. But has he done enough? 6. Infamous is in second place. It's 2.8. Hyperz is P2. How did that happen? How? Absolute scenes here in Paul Ricard. I did not expect to see the comeback there. Oh, wow. Yoltuk will cross the line and take P5 before penalties are applied, and Yenab will take P4. Oh, he snatched it from him. P5. Good job. Zone's P7, though. Get earned, will cross and take P8. Is that before penalties? Beaker's P8. Oh, there it is.
Look at Get
yeah, he's lost a lot of points. Wow. Holy, what a race.
That is exactly what I expected from the front three. Hyperz wouldn't let it settle. He wouldn't sit and wait. He was fighting for something he shouldn't be fighting for, which cost him the win.
He had
If he
to.
sat back and accepted the fact that Infamous was going to go through, and was happy to let him beat him on track, Hyperz would have taken the win. But Hyperz's mentality is all wrong. He
I don't
wants
know.
to win on track, and that's what's costing him.
I mean, it was intense, to say the least. I think Hyperz did his best. I think my main question is, why didn't Infamous just dump his ERS and start pushing hard? It was only a 2-second gap. Nicholas is in a very bad place with his ERS. That was an opportunity for Infamous to pull this back.
Infamous had 6 seconds of penalties, though. I don't know when he got that second one. I kind of missed that. It might have been on the final lap. It might have been the lap before, which messed everything up in his head.
Ha! Do you want to guess who the driver of the day is?
Beaker!
It's Beaker. Beaker takes the RNL Twitch chat driver of the day. Very well done, Beaker, to achieve that. And he secured some solid points for his team. This is a very different Beaker this season than we saw last season. I don't think we've seen Beaker perform this well in quite a long time. But we will get a look at the rundown of the finishers here in just a second, as Nicholas very dramatically takes the win here. Started P3, secures the P1 with Hyperz in P2. He tried everything to keep himself in that penalty window, just could not get it, as Infamous takes P3, Preschneider gets P4, Yenab gets P5 with Yolta in P6, Zones P7, Beaker in P8, Somebody at P9 with Panpernick getting the final point, with Danico being best of the rest, and then you got Copy, Geturned, Brownie, JC, Gooby, Absinthe, and Dennis in 18th place. Wow. Whew, leaves me with one final question for you, Amkasa. Who is your driver of the day?
I want to give it to Crow. He absolutely nailed that. Honourable mention to Yenab as well. 16th to 5th is a good race from him. But yeah, I mean, somebody did well as well. 17th to 9th, penalty free for those two. I'll go with Crow. I don't like giving it to the winner, but he did really well.
He did incredibly well. I'm really pleased. But I'm actually going to give it to Yenab, because not only did he go from P16 to P5, he did it penalty free. So absolutely very well deserved here. Oh, well, that's it for the Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in France. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate for you. Thank you, as always, Jamie, for joining me in the commentators booth. It's been a pleasure, to say the least. But we'll be back next week in Austria, and we know exactly how that's going to go down. It is DRS Slipstream Central.
Oh, yes.